Meowdy meowdy, fellow gamers. Welcome
Oh
aboard
my
the slime
goodness.
train.
Slime it up. It's time to eat some slime.
Oh my god, it's Nickelodeon slime time. Ah.
I never was much for a Nickelodeon kid, but uh but I was a big time Cartoon Network. Like in the same way as being like a Nintendo fangirl, I was also the same way about Cartoon Network of like Nickelodeon's got live action shows on it, so it's kind of fucking normie shit. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Cartoon Network was like, no, this is real. This is cartoons. Like,
Well,
cartoons is what's real.
you say that,
Penwo Mayday.
but there was that span of time during the like writer's strike or
Oh,
whatever it was, where Cartoon
I
Network had
was
a
an
live
adult
action
by then. I
block.
didn't really truly have to suffer that the way that everyone. I was already
Yeah,
into the internet by then, so
I had to
it
suffer the
wasn't
brunt
as
of that. I was still very much
wasn't as
watching
big a loss
cartoons.
for me.
Hello, Mayday from space.
Um, I would say like, cause when I was like a little kid, we didn't even have like the cartoon like the stuff that Cartoon Network is best identified with, like the cartoons, which I would say starts with like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls, and Johnny Bravo and Cow and Chicken and all that. And then like the next generation was Kids Next Door and Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and oh god, I feel like there's a few other like big ones from that generation.
Ed, Ed and Eddie was
And
my
then that
favorite.
oh yeah, Ed, Ed and Eddie would be the first generation also. And then like I would say Kids Next Door was the one that like started to bridge into we're gonna have continuous narratives and like the characters are gonna age and like progress through the story. And then the next generation after that was like Adventure Time, regular show, Chowder, and Adventure Time really pushed the like, okay, now we're really gonna have the characters age. All of them felt like they were a little bit older,
Yeah,
except maybe a Flapjack was around then too.
I loved
And then
Flapjack.
like that's the last generation of Cartoon Network that like my little brothers were still young enough that they're watching it all the time, so I
Mm,
still am like familiar with those shows. But like
yeah.
anything after like I don't know, Craig of the Creek or whatever, I think that's a Cartoon Network show. I've
Yeah.
never seen it. Like that's too new for
I
for
stuck
my
around
knowledge.
for Adventure Time and regular show for a while, but like I kind of fell off of watching cable TV around that time, like 2014, I think, and I still kept up with Adventure Time just by like, streaming it. This is so crazy.
There's a big turtle on the screen. I got zeroed in. What is it with big turtles taking you places in video games? Maybe it's maybe there's some kind of mythology that uses this. Oh my god, he's adorable. He's so much cuter in this than he is in fucking Melee.
Oh, yeah, I slept quite well. I just realized this when I opened my eyes. The passing of days is quite quick, isn't it, Lulu? Yes, Lulu. It's nothing to be surprised at. Although my eyes were closed in sleep, I still see everything that occurs in this ocean. It seems Lulu is confused. Regrettably, there is no time for idle chit-chat. Now then, proud Zora warrior. The open seas of Great Bay have need of your might. Quickly, climb onto my back.
Reminds me of the giant lion turtle from Avatar. The Last Airbender, not the Blue Cat movie. I have to
It reminds me
clarify
of
that
Sonic
because
Adventure 2 when you ride on the back of the turtle to go from like one part of the Rouge level to the other.
oh yeah.
Simon said some of those earlier live action Nick shows were good. I'd always heard that at the time too, but like just being live action was. I could never relate to the characters in live action shows
Yeah.
because I was a little girly, you know, girly kid who supposedly was a boy, and that wasn't like something you saw in shows back then. There was no trans representation for me to learn what a trans person was from
Oh, there
in
were
the
trans
90s. So.
representations in Drake and Josh. They just weren't friendly ones.
That was not even the 90s though. That's later.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
when I
already
was a
grown
kid.
by the time of Drake and Josh. When I think early late like Nick at Night shows, I'm thinking like Oh god, I can't even remember like what any of them were. I know all that was like a Nick at Night show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there was all
And
that. Trying to think older than Zoe
fucking
101. What came before Zoe 1? The Amanda Show?
probably I'm trying to think. Like in my mind also, I wouldn't know the difference between the Disney ones and the Nickelodeon ones either. So like,
Yeah.
or ones that are on other networks. So, like literally the only network I watched as a kid was Cartoon Network, like religiously, all the time.
Yeah.
Particularly when the cartoon era started, when like when Ed, Ed and Eddie and Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls were on all the time. Like that was just good eating to be a cartoon watcher.
The Powerpuff Girls was so good. I still love that show. I could watch Powerpuff Girls right now.
Brody
and have
posted
a
a
good time.
cute little popcorn monster and said Flapjack is amazing.
It is.
Mayday said Destroy Build Destroy kicked ass. I love Andrew WK to death, so I can watch that show even though it's like completely mind numbing just because I'm like, it's Andrew WK in a show. Like this is cool.
Best trans
I
rap I
don't
can
like use
remember.
any of his music, but
Gender swap episodes like Fiona and Cake. Did you know season 2 of Fiona and Cake is actually dropping on the 23rd? There's been like no advertising for that. Fucking
season
love
1.
Fiona and Cake.
Simon said Samurai Jack. That would have been like the same era as Kids Next Door and all that. Actually, a little earlier. It kind of had its own. Like it was a very special release because they did the first 3 episodes as like its own movie, and they debuted that like well before the rest of the show came out. But they advertised the living fuck out of it when they did so. So I remember watching the debut of the movie and being like, this is the sickest, craziest shit I've ever seen, because there's like a 15-minute fight scene with no dialogue, and like it was just like I felt like I lived my whole life in that time as a kid. It was fucking crazy.
Samurai Jack was too slow. I couldn't get into it.
Well, that's the thing. Most of the show didn't like live up to how ridiculous that action scene is in the like movie,
Yeah.
or episode 3, I guess you would call it. But like the very next episode of the show, when it actually started, is the one where it's like he goes to like a village of dog people, and they're all just kind of stupid assholes because they're fucking dogs, and like I hated it, and I was just like, oh no, this is not at all what I thought this show was gonna be. Like,
Yeah.
but it did have badass episodes every so often. Digit asked, did y'all enjoy Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
I did when I was
So
a
that's a show-
child, but
I really I wanted to love that show. I was like probably 12 when it was at its height, and like it was like the idea of Imaginary Friends really appealed to me because I'm like dissociative, so it naturally makes sense to me. But it's also the kind of thing where like, for me, all growing up, I've just been very like bound to logic in such a way that I was like, well, it's impossible, right? Like it's imaginary, so it can't be like, you can't talk to something that's not real. Meanwhile, like having thoughts in complete sentences all the time, which is basically talking to nothing, So like, it's not really that different from just thinking, to just be thinking but contextualizing it as like a thing you're talking to. But like I, as a kid, did not like. I was literally too rational to embrace the concept of an imaginary friend. So I was hoping that the show would kind of like teach me how, like. But the whole show is about leaving behind your imaginary friend. Like it's not about embracing it. It's about how you've gotten too old and you need to put it behind you. Although the main character is like kind of clinging to his, and like he still has a relationship with it, and there's this idea that like, okay, well, these things don't like die, they just are still around in a fucking place, which is strange in and of itself. Like, okay, so you're supposed to abandon your guy, but it is real, it does live, so that's all right. But then like every single episode was just about how Blue is an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, and they always treated him like an asshole even when he wasn't really like doing anything that bad yet. Like, he would just kind of open his mouth, and it's like everyone's like, Blue, shut the fuck up. And he's like, oh, all right, then I'm going to go fucking do what I want then, And then they get even more mad at him later. There'd always be like a down note moment where everyone's kind of just upset. And I don't know, that energy was always tough for me as a kid because it was not what I was coming to cartoons for. I wanted like, you know, I wanted to see something badass and satisfying, you know.
Yeah. The premise of Foster's Home is just so cute and wholesome. It's like, it sounds like a Pixar movie, kind of like Monsters Incorporated. It's like, why are there monsters in your closet? And they like invent this
Yeah.
whole silly world around that idea. It's that kind of vibe, but then you actually watch the show and it's not that fun and it's not that cute and it's not that inviting. It's actually kind of irritating.
There's so many episodes that are about like Frankie just being forced to do menial things by the big rabbit man,
Yeah.
and like it gets really boring. Like it's boring for her in universe. It's boring for us to watch like the same thing happen over and over again. Where
It just makes
every
me
time she
mad.
tries to do anything, he like stops her and makes her go do chores, and like we watch that and like okay, that's not like a show, you know. That's it's and I kind of feel like the show, it's not for me, you know. It's for like kids who have been in probably darker situations than me, like foster kids, you know. Like I know kids who were in the foster system for whom that show meant more than it meant to me, so I'm like, okay, I get it. It's not meant to be a pleasant time. Like it wasn't meant for people who are living a particularly pleasant time. Main character's in like a abusive home situation, you know, like single mom's never around and his older brother is like kicking his ass all the time. So like, it's not really meant to be pleasant, but again, that was not what I was looking for when I was 13. My parents weren't really around, but I was the older sibling who actually was kind of the bully, so maybe that's why. Maybe it didn't resonate with me because I didn't realize that I was the piece of shit character in that show. But
I mean, I was the one who had the older brother who was mean to me, and I couldn't relate to the main character of Foster's Home at all. So, I don't know. I think the writing just isn't that good, honestly.
maybe that's all it is. I don't know. It's the same team that did Powerpuff Girls, though, so...
I mean, my biggest issue with Foster's Home is just the sense of humor of that show. Like, even when the show isn't being like, wow, doesn't this character's entire life just suck? Like, even when it's being silly, the silliness doesn't work for me, because it usually amounts to a character entering the room, being annoying on purpose, and then everyone else repeating what they just said over and over again. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to think of
I
any
agree.
jokes I can remember. I don't remember the jokes themselves. I just remember the rhythm of conversation being like that thing, oh, that thing, yes, that thing, yeah, that thing. Just repeating themselves. That makes me want to die.
Gary said even though it's slow, I love the Three Archers episode, which I think you're talking about Samurai Jack. And I know the episode you mean, that's one of the best ones, but it's because it's tense the whole time. It's like, it wasn't just that, like, because action doesn't just mean, like, flashy things happening. It means, like, you're in a tense scenario. And, like, there were some episodes of Samurai Jack that are, you know, that are, like, just aura farming nonstop. And that's the badass stuff. And then there's the ones that are, like, really dumb jokes about dogs, you know? That it's like, okay. Which, now that, I don't know if y'all know this, but, so Gendy Tartakovsky, you know, he created Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, the original Star Wars Clone Wars.
Love Clone Wars.
Genius animator. He directed the Hotel Transylvania movies as his big, like, making a lot of money franchise. But he's got, like, a new movie that's just, like, weird, gross out dog humor for, like, an hour, like, 90 minutes. Like, and it's like a passion project. He had to spend like 10 years getting off the ground type thing. Like, you know, nobody wanted to pay for this. And it's just like a Super Eye Patch Wolf did a video about it on like his side channel where he just described it. And I was like, wow, like that is like definitively the work of like someone who truly like is into like freak, like whose sense of humor is truly freakish and was never going to get to express it at the level that they wanted to if not for becoming like a total legend in their field, and therefore getting like carte blanche to make the weirdest imaginable like passion project. Like dog balls humor like nonstop for 90 fucking minutes.
This boss was in A Link to the Past.
Is this the like the whole ass boss of the Zora dungeon, or
No,
is
it's
this
a
like
mini
a
boss.
Okay, I was gonna say this doesn't seem very boss like compared to the last boss.
This was like a boss in the 2D games. Oh god. It's just chaos.
Gary always says, I was close to Frankie's age when the show came out. I was in it for her. 20-something girls who are good at but kind of hate their jobs are peak. And Frankie was based directly on Lauren Faust because she's Craig McCracken's wife, and it was supposed to be like her when she was younger. And she created My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Wow!
And she made a cartoon about DC superhero girls. Don't forget about that one. Everybody loves that one, right?
Honestly, if I was gonna try to like deep lore with her, like right after the My Little Pony thing, because she left the production of that pretty early, she had these like this doll collection she was trying to get launched, and I don't know if she ever was able to actually like get it all the way off the ground, but it was like 12 or so like roller skating magical girl type characters that I don't know, they seemed really cool. It's just like not a market that like fan funding really had moved into, I guess, or something. I don't know. She was trying to like kickstart it, and I don't think she succeeded. But this was around the same time as she ended up doing the DC show. Sometimes you just need the money, you know. Can't do the dream project because nobody wants it enough. Unless you are a super fucking genius like Andy Tartakovsky, in which case you could just, I don't know, somehow you could make that happen. Some people don't give up. C-Cypher said she also had a canned project called Toiled in Trouble that was canceled by Netflix. Toil in Trouble.
Damn.
Yeah, like, and her husband Craig McCracken did Wander Over Yonder, which I know some people really loved, but didn't last that long with the Disney Channel. I don't know what he's done since either, but you know, in the cartoon world, like making animation is fairly expensive, so the only way you're going to get a studio to back it is if you are guaranteed gonna make like a shitload of money. And that usually comes down to product sales. So like they almost always are gonna try to make it for kids, and they're gonna try to push some kind of, you know, saleable character. And you know, as soon as you complicate that in any way, then they're going to make your project harder to. And it's not just that like they want it to be baseline saleable, it's that they're constantly going to ask you questions about how to make it more so. Like if you introduce something, they're going to say, well, couldn't this also be used over here, you know? Like consider the long period of time when the Metroid franchise was not doing like its thing, you know what I mean? Like do you know what I'm talking about, Crota?
Sorry, say that again?
There was like a long period where Metroid just like
Yeah.
wasn't Metroid at all. Like how do I put it? It was like 2006 or so when Prime 3 came out, which already a lot of people didn't really care for.
There was a
there was, like,
13-year
other
gap between Prime 3 and the next above-average Metroid game coming out.
Yeah. It was like 2009 was Other M. Everyone hated that. Then there was a long silence, and then they made Federation Force, which was even more baffling and questionable. And why did you do this? You can't even play as Samus. It's like a multiplayer arena shooter or something that's like got a cutesy art style. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I swear it was just like some weird space soccer game that they just attached the Metroid IP to hope it would get better sales. Just came out at like the worst possible time when like people were dying for a real Metroid game, so revealing a fake Metroid game would do nothing but infuriate everyone.
There's this I can't remember which fucking video it was. There's a lot of good
No digit. Federation Force was not awesome. I have it. I played it. It is not awesome. It is aggressively mid. I'm sorry.
I have not played it.
I still have
I'm
it.
not averse to the idea, especially if I could actually find somebody else who wanted to play. Like, I don't want to buy a copy, so if I was playing your copy, we couldn't play it together. But I was, if somebody had two copies, I might consider playing it 2-player. But holy shit. No, Federation Force is obviously dog shit, and the only way it could have come about, this one video explained that there was like this producer who works at Nintendo who's kind of like their odds and ends guy, that like whenever they're not really sure what to do with an IP, they kind of throw it to this guy, and sometimes he's been successful in like figuring out what to do. I think even that he was responsible for Metroid Prime, but he was also responsible for a lot of the ideas that didn't work in the Metroid Prime sequels. Like, he desperately wanted them to put an arena multiplayer mode in Metroid Prime 2, and there is one. I don't know if a lot of people even know that. There's a multiplayer mode, but like, even reviews were just like, we don't really know why this is here. Like, the game got really good review scores, and everybody was like, yeah, we're not reviewing this well because the multiplayer is good. We don't care about that, it just. So that guy made a lot of nonsense decisions with the IP because he's just viewing it as like, this is our shooter property. Like, we Nintendo, we have a shooter.
Yeah.
And so anytime there's a trend with shooter, he's thinking, oh, well, Metroid Prime's a first-person shooter, and online first-person shooter games are really big in 2006, so Hunters, and then, well, multiplayer online arena shooters are, co-op are big now, so Federation Force, and the Metroid pinball thing was, maybe the dumbest producer brain idea, because there was just like a company that makes pinball games, and they had made one for Nintendo already that like didn't really sell, but it was good, and they wanted to make another one. And so that guy was like, oh, well, Samus turns into a ball, so what if it's a Metroid theme? And it's like, from what I hear, the game is good if you like pinball games, but like, people who are really into pinball don't care about Metroid, and people who are really into Metroid don't care about pinball. So it doesn't make sense.
It's pretty unhinged.
It's fine that it's there, but nobody wanted that.
This mini boss is so ridiculous. But graphically impressive for the time.
See, Cypher said Craig McCracken also made Kid Cosmic. It's pretty decent, but like most Netflix things, it got very little advertising. Yeah, I guess they just kind of hope that stuff will take off. They just pump it out, and they're like, if it's good, it'll find its audience. If not, whatever.
Oh no, he's doing frog karate on me. Yeah, they're just showing off at this point. Like, ew, look how well animated this is. Are you impressed?
So this is the boss thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
Another
This is just
probe.
another weird. There's a lot of interesting little weird mid bosses in this dungeon.
Yeah. This is better than
I
the
like
water
how
temple, but it's still very odd.
Yeah, I like that it's more of like a sewer temple almost. Like, it's more like, it's not even as much a temple as just like a very fancy aqueduct.
The big boss sucks. Yeah, no, the real boss of this dungeon is the worst boss in the game. I'm not a fan.
Guilty Gunk said they wanted it to be their Halo so bad. That one producer
Yeah.
definitely did. Like, explicitly, that was what he wanted.
Yeah. Metroid Prime 3 is so obnoxious. It's like diluting the identity of Metroid on purpose to appeal to like a wider audience, and it's like everything that makes Metroid appealing is the things that are unique to Metroid. Who fucking cares?
It's a hard formula to even like evolve or fuck with for the people who make it,
Yeah.
because like, I mean, if you look at like Metroid Prime, I mean, Super Metroid is already practically a remake of the original Metroid. Metroid Prime follows the same formula as Super Metroid.
Yep.
Zero Mission makes the original game more like Super Metroid. Fusion mostly follows the same formula, but like changes it up a bit, but people didn't like a lot of the changes it made. And then like Primes 2 and 3 changed the format also, but those changes are all contentious, and like 3 is not even considered like an amazing game. Obviously, everything, like I said, in between that and Dread, like people just were like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why you even tried to make this. And then they just kept like doing remakes until finally Dread is like the first time that they actually just tried to, okay, how do we evolve this? Like, what would be a sensical next step for the Metroid franchise?
Yes. And it's a good thing they made Samus Returns as like sort of a practice run, really figure out what makes Metroid games fun in the first place. Because Samus Returns is a deeply flawed, but pretty decent game. And I feel like they fixed all of my complaints with it in Dread and made like a really perfect Metroid sequel. Feels really
I watched
fucking
a
good
pretty
to play.
great video about like the evolution of that studio going from Castlevania Lords of Shadow into the Metroid games and like the evolution between them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how much they seem to learn between games, you know, like the Lords of Shadow 3DS game looks like there's some good ideas here, but it's kind of ass overall. And like now they've come to a point of making a game everyone seems to think is a masterpiece.
Yes. Love to see it.
You ever think about with like super long franchises that either have like long lulls or just like they suck for a while but then they get good again, like all the fans who died in the meantime never got to make it to, and then sometimes the creator dies, like in the case of Berserk. Like I used to think all the time, like, oh man, you ever think about all the Berserk fans who have died waiting for the ending, and fucking the creator did, so I guess there was nothing to miss out on. But there's plenty of One Piece fans who haven't made it, you know, like...
Yeah, I think about it all the time, just because my stepdad, who I was not super close to, but like my stepdad died of cancer like 6 years ago, and he was a gamer, and I just think about that all the time. I'm like, damn, like all the games that he and I had a shared interest in, like the sequels and like follow-ups that have come out since then that he never got to experience, I'm like, oh my god.
Was he a Metroid fan, like waiting around for it to get good again? And
Not a Metroid fan, but like, I don't know. He was pretty into like the Souls games, and he never got to play Elden Ring.
ooh,
So,
that's tough.
yeah.
Especially if you were hyped for it. It's like the only game I ever let myself get hyped for. And even then I never beat it. I only played like, I don't know, 15 hours, maybe 20. I got too in my head about trying to write about it, which tends to happen with me when I,
Oh my god, yeah.
like, if it's hard for me to like want to play a game if I'm not gonna write about it, but at the same time, sometimes, like, if I get too in my head about trying to write the script, then I can't just play the fucking game. And like, with Elden Ring, it was like too hard to strike a balance of, like, okay, I'm gonna play for a couple hours, and then I'm gonna write about those couple of hours, but the writing is itself going to take like twice as long. So it's like for every 3 hours of gaming, I'm doing 5 hours of writing, and that's all the, you know, space there is in the day for Elden Ring. So the pace just felt too slow, and then, you know, trying to focus on playing the game, then you get too far ahead of the writing, forget some of what you wanted to say, and it's like, all right, this is not like a fun way to play a video game or write a script, actually. It would have been nicer to just play the whole game and then worry about writing about it later. But I was really adamant that, like, oh, I gotta be ahead of the curve. But actually, when I started publishing videos about Elden Ring, everybody was still dodging spoilers at like an absolute level. So even though my videos were about like the very start of the game, people were still like, oh, I don't want to spoil myself, I haven't played it yet. I'm like, motherfucker.
Amazing.
I should not. I should just, all around was wrong. Didn't understand the market. So
And I even tried to write a video about Elden Ring. It's like, I've been thinking about being a YouTuber for like ages. And I tried writing a script, and I'm glad that I didn't end up making that video, because I was just like struggling really bad with Elden Ring, and like I basically wanted to write a script about how, like, because every fucking buddy and their grandma has a video about how Dark Souls saved them from like killing themselves or whatever, so I wanted to make a video about how like Elden Ring did the opposite for me and actually made my depression way
made
worse.
you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, like, Because I was pretty
That's
severely
hilarious.
depressed at the time, and I'm like, this game is not like making me feel better. um, but I'm glad I didn't end up making that video because I feel like a lot of my complaints with the game ended up being like there was a lot of overlap between the stuff that Joseph Anderson said about the game in his review, and I think his video was like garbage. So I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I really think that life is more about timing than it is about anything else. And if something is not, if it's not the right time, you really need to make sure you know that. Like, you know, we delayed the Majora's Mask stream because like real life got in the way, and it just it wasn't viable to do it at the time that it would have debuted originally, you know.
Hmm.
And now we're here because the timing was right again, and so we get to play it, you know. But
Yeah.
like, there's always going to be like, if you're in the wrong headspace to enjoy something, you're not going to enjoy it.
Exactly.
So um you know, you can't force it just because that's where the zeitgeist is at. If you are not in the zeitgeist, you know, if your head is not in the game, so to speak, if you're in your own world, your own concerns. What's the chat talking about?
This is so agonizing.
This music is kind of maddening.
Is there a way to get in?
Very much reminds me of like the sound the fucking enemies make in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah. And that spooky music starts playing because there's a fucking robot locked onto your position.
Yeah. That was weird.
Breath of the Wild has one of the best game soundtracks ever, let's be real. Absolutely rules.
Slime Doll's greater than Game Grumps. Did you type that because of my burp, or was that just purely incidental? Do we agree? I mean, I certainly agree, because we're actually out and not just in the closet about being trans. We don't just talk about wanting to be hot girls, we just fucking took matters into our own hands and went for it.
That really got me. Of course
Day
you're
Aaron
better than
comes out
Game
of
Grumps
the
because we're
egg,
not in
it's
the
the day
fucking
that they can-
closet. We're just gay. Oh my god. That's so real though. It's so fucking real.
It might as well be our advertising.
Like
Slime
Game
Dolls
Grumps.
has the same rhythm to it as Game Grumps. Look, I didn't do this without any intent. Alright, like, it was some thought.
Slime Dolls, like Game Grumps, but not in the closet. Holy shit. Having more fun with these streams than Game Grumps, exactly. I mean, I used to love Game Grumps, but like, every time I try rewatching like old playthroughs and stuff, I'm just like, man, my attention span was so much wider when I was a teenager. Like, it used to be way easier to watch these.
It's not your attention span, it's that
Well, I also
you
just, I don't
had
know.
more, I think you had more desire to be the, like, in the type of conversation that
Yeah.
they're in back then. Like, because the thing about, like, okay, both of us are huge Game Grumps fans at a time. I definitely think our ability to do this is borrowed somewhat from, like, listening to that show, and, like, the fact that Ego Raptor was so self-conscious about filling every single second to where, like, they start kind of bullying each other if they get quiet, you know? Like, to
Yeah.
have something to talk about, and then they just start making goofy noises if they can't. Like, I think that kind of put it into people's heads that, like, oh, well, okay, that is kind of what separates them from all the other Let's Players who, like, suck and aren't popular, is, like, the ones who are either really loud or who always have something to say are the ones that are entertaining, and the more you could copy that, the more you're gonna be like a, you know, as good as Game Grumps. But like, you know, they more often were going for funny than for like thoughtful.
Yeah.
Like they had thoughtful as like a back pocket thing, you know. But like thoughtful is where I put my money at. Funny is my back pocket thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't try to forefront the funny, and Krona, you have the funny and the thoughtful, but more so you've just got the raw riz. Like you're more like the Danny Sexbang of this operation. If he was actually good at video games.
That's really funny.
Well, he is good at some. He is actually good at the video games he's good at, like Zelda 2. But
I just wish I had the giant thumbs. I don't have the giant golf ball sized thumbs. Though my brother does. My brother has big thumbs and he has big toes. His fucking toes are so long that his wife started calling them tingers, and now I started calling my boyfriend's toes tingers because he also has the long toe fingers. They're tingers.
I feel like you just unequivocally proved that you are the Danny Sexbang of this podcast with that analogy. Holy moly!
Jesus Christ.
I already said this is the only stream I watch because I love y'all. Thank you.
Aw, how sweet.
I don't usually find time for streams. I always feel like if I'm watching something live, I like have to interact with it, but I don't always want the effect of my interaction on it. So I often just find myself like leaving, or like I'm more likely to watch a live stream later instead of like watch it and then feel like I need to participate in it because, you know, I might say something that like changes the course of the conversation in a way that I'm not like, I wasn't really hoping for that. I just wanted to say my piece, or maybe I wanted to talk to chat, but not, you know, like interrupt the flow of the whole discussion. So yeah, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's hard for me to lurk, and sometimes I just want to lurk, but I can't because I'm too like, I get an idea in my head and I just want to throw it out there right away. You know, I jump right into chat and say my piece, and then I'm like, I really think about it and I'm like, well, that's all that person knows about me. Like, you know, they went from not knowing that I exist at all, but I know a lot about them, to knowing that I exist, but only in the context of this one thing that I said in response to one thing that they said one time, and that's my whole existence to them, you know, unless I'm really careful about like developing that relationship before I show up in that chat. And then I also have to think about how everyone else in the chat either has no idea who I am or has a total misconception of who I am, you know, which can cause its own problems if my presence just becomes a distraction, you know. Like one time that I was in a premiere chat for a Professor Sky video, someone who clearly was like on the younger side, who was in chat, saw me and said, "Oh, Trixie, you're clouded TF up." And I just thought that was such a strange thing to say, because I was like, me? I'm clouded the fuck up? Okay. And I responded, I've got chaotic cloud. And Professor Sky said, chaotic cloud is a sight to behold. And I was like, I don't know what that tells me that he knows about me, but he knows enough to know that, like, my reputation is fucked, you know, like, and I can't tell if that kid knows that, like, the kid who's saying I'm clouded TF up. I don't know how much that kid knows about me, or if he's just thinking, oh, you've got 200 fucking thousand subscribers, therefore you've got a lot of clout. And I'm like, the kind of clout I have is not the kind of clout you want, dog. Like, but yeah, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I wasn't trying to make the conversation about me being in chat. You know, I'm trying to talk about the goddamn album or about whatever I have to say about what's being said in the video, you know, like, I don't like when it becomes, oh, Trixie's here. And I'm like, yes. And then they start asking me about anime. Dog, this is... It's a fucking anime club. Like, we're here to do something.
Anime?
Yep.
Tell us more about your Japanese colloquialisms.
Yeah, I've really been like, as of late, I ask myself sometimes, like, okay, but like, all you're known for really is anime. So if you had to talk about anime, like, would you, like, what would you do? And like, I'm really kind of just stuck on Tezuka, because I feel like Tezuka is the most important artist of the century, and no one says that. Like, that's not like a thing that you hear all the time, and
here we go.
And that's really weird to me. Like,
boss fight time.
Oh shit, we're here. It's happening. Now this looks like a boss arena already. It looks an awful lot like the Water Temple boss arena, but cooler, but nonetheless. I like all the pool lights at the bottom.
I remember getting stuck on this fight and dying to it so many times that the clock almost ran out and I almost had to redo the whole dungeon, but I managed to kill it with like 5 minutes to spare. It's a big fish. Georg. Georg.
It just says this fight fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's George. This fight blows chunks.
Georg.
Ow. I don't even remember
This
what I'm
reminds me
supposed to do.
of the second boss from Phantasy Star Online. I'd really love to play Phantasy Star Online with you sometime, but
Same.
it's a tough thing to organize for a couple reasons. One, if you really want to get into it, like have a whole ass campaign, it would be like a weeks long thing. It would be a whole deal.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason that it's a pain in the ass is that on the GameCube game, basically, so like the way the game is broken up is that you'll play through a zone called Forest 1, and then you'll go back to the ship, and then you'll play through a zone called Forest 2. And then at the end of Forest 2 will be a boss fight. And after you beat that boss, you'll go to Cave 1, and so on and so forth. But, like, when you play the game on multiplayer, you can only go to the cave if you've beaten the first boss on single player. So like ultimately if you and I were to play together and we were to beat the first boss, we would then have to go on to single player and each beat the first boss independently in order for us to continue to the next stage.
I see.
Which makes it a pain, or maybe it's just in order to go back to the cave after we've restarted. Like, it might be that you could play through the whole thing in one sitting, but it's really hard to do that. Typically, you're gonna want to play through the first level twice anyways, just to grind enough to get to the second level and like pick up different items and drops, because it's kind of randomized what you get when you play. But like, yeah, just the fact that it requires you to take some time to go play by yourself makes it like such a pain in the ass as a multiplayer experience. There have been times that I've just straight up gone and done it for my friends, like just like while they're gone, I just played through on my own and on theirs through the thing we'd already done together, you know.
Where's that big fish? Oh no. Stop.
But I love the game.
Get away, get away.
And
God damn it.
it's funny because aesthetically it's kind of similar to this, but it literally looks worse because this is like the HD unpacked. Like this looks better than a GameCube game because of the way that it's you know, being rendered by the computer. Even in like a shrunken down, like the window I'm watching this on is like the size of a Switch screen basically, and it still looks like crisp as fuck compared to anything on the N64 or GameCube.
Christmas fuck.
Crisp as fuck, I said. Christmas
So
fuck.
Christmas fuck. This looks like Christmas fuck.
I want that to mean something now. Fucking Christmas fuck. This is Christmas fuck.
Ah, stop bumping into the wall. The fish is coming for me. Ow. I don't like it. It stinks. It's stinky. Shoot it.
I gotta crispen my pronunciation so that I don't sound like I'm talking about holidays. Hey, fuck that fish. Fish people! Scale him.
You know, if you can believe it,
Like
they
a
made this
scale 'em
fight
like a
even
hill.
worse in the remake.
I can believe it. Seems like they made everything worse in the remake.
Just about, yeah.
His whole fucking head is a mask. You're just gonna wear his head.
Finally. Gonna eat his heart. Delicious. Hey. I got Georg's remains.
I feel like it would be a lot easier to accidentally skip the heart in this game than usual, because like it's just another item. Like you're not thinking about it as like, oh, that's gonna teleport me out of here, you know. It does have like the light surrounding it, but my instinct is always like, go for the unique thing. The repetitive thing will surely end the level.
Hey, listen, we want you to lend us your power. If you just leave things as they are, something terrible will happen to this world. Surely you're the only ones who can stop it. That's what Tile was trying to tell us. Help our Ugh. I get it. We have to help the last one.
I don't think that's who he's talking about.
Then promise us this. You'll cooperate with us.
Big turtle.
Now I can continue resting in peace. I too must abide the laws of ancient times and again merely watch from my deep slumber. But the evil that haunts this land has not completely vanished, Link. I shall depart after enjoying Lulu's voice a bit longer. I think the gods can permit that.
Alright, you fucking weirdo.
Big turtle is sick. This is my favorite thing that's happened in this game so far. It's probably Big Turtle.
Big Turtle's pretty epic.
It's funny that I didn't like think about that. That's like a thing in this game because it's in the goddamn melee level, but
Yup.
like I just never had really engaged with it in the game itself. Hey, it's Zora. Zora music.
Replaying Smash Melee as an adult was really enlightening, just to see how much fan service there is for all the Super Nintendo games I love now that I didn't have access to as a kid.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Lulu. Please come to our concert in town. Are they gonna have a concert in town too? That's pretty epic. Ooh, I just remembered. I have all the transformation masks now. That means I can do that one milk bar fucking thing.
Milk. So I think we've established that we're both like big, huge Metroid fans.
Of course.
Are you also a Castlevania fan?
I do consider myself one, but I'm a bit of a weirdo because I like the classic, more arcadey Castlevania games, and I don't really like the more like Metroid-y ones.
I'm
I don't
pretty
know.
much with you on that. I like the
Okay.
first and third games the most, I think.
First, third, and fourth for me. I love Super Castlevania 4. It's so badass. I've beaten the first one the most, though. I've beaten the first one like a dozen times. I never finished 3. 3 is too
Damn.
hard.
Even with save states, I could not beat Castlevania 1 because death was too hard.
I beat it with save states, and then I beat it again on real hardware, because I'm a real gamer.
Oh my god.
The only way I
That's
could beat the Grim Reaper was by getting the holy water at the very start of the level, and then trying really hard to not accidentally pick up a different weapon all the way to the end of the stage, so I could just spam him with the holy water and keep him stun locked. It's the best way to kill him.
Digit said, have you ever watched the Netflix anime? I have, because Bird is a big fan of it, and there's a part in the first episode where he's like, you've caused all of this pogrom, and I'd never heard the word pogrom, and like, I think, like, for some reason, I ended up seeing that episode like 3 times, almost in a row, and like, one of the times, it's just like, it was on in the room, and I just walked in when that was happening, and I literally was like, what the fuck does this word mean, and I had to look it up, and I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about him going pogrom.
I tried watching...
Which is basically like a crazy riot. Apparently it's mostly associated with like these like Jewish extermination riots that happened at some point. So
God.
yeah, it's not a funny, fun word, but it does sound like one in Castlevania.
Yeah. I think I watched the first season of Castlevania, which was like 4 episodes, and I thought it was pretty awesome. And then season 2, I think I stopped paying attention for like 15 minutes, and then I completely lost track of what was going on. And they just introduced all these new characters I didn't give a fuck about, and I kind of lost interest. But, you know.
I couldn't get that into it. It mostly to me just seemed like a bunch of edgy stuff for the sake of itself.
Yeah.
But
The guy who made that show said they wanted to do an adaptation of Berserk next, but that never happened.
yeah, I think they did Devil May Cry, and they did that fucking weird ass Rayman show. The edgy Rayman.
I completely forgot about that. That's hilarious.
But yeah.
Rayman is such a funny character to do that too. It's so fucking
I'm not the
weird.
biggest fan of the Adi Shankar writing style in general, but so like with regards to Castlevania, you know, I like the first and third. I've played some of the other ones and thought they were like pretty good. I never got into them. Definitely not on like the Metroid level, because Metroid games is like play it over and over again. Fucking, it's a masterpiece. But I got curious because I was like, I remembered playing the DS game where you could play as like the brother or the sister, and having thought that was like pretty okay. And I was like, is there another one where you can play as a girl? And I think the only one is Order of Ecclesia, which is also on the DS. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna check out Order of Ecclesia. This was earlier today. I was just purely interested in like Castlevania, play as a girl. Let's see if she's cool. You know, like she looks cool. Let's see if she's cool. And like the first 15 minutes of the game is mostly a dialogue-heavy cutscene where it's her talking to this guy where like I guess she's about to have a ritual where she's going to be imbued with this demon blade, and he was like, oh, that was supposed to be me, and she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, but the old man said that only I can fuse with this demon blade, so I don't know why you thought it was going to be you, but it's not going to be you, it's going to be me. And he's just like raging fucking pissed off. So then he comes to the old guy and like he basically says the same thing. He's like, you know, I mean, it was always going to be her. She's like, just gets really pissed and like fucks with the ritual, and it puts her into like she loses her memories. So then she has to be retrained by the old man, and like sent off to Dracula's castle to go fight. And in this whole 15 minutes of cutscene, the guy who's pissed off and the old man have like 100% of the meaningful dialogue, and all that the main girl says is yes or yes sir or like yes, can confirm. Like she basically just like they keep telling her what the story is and she keeps saying uh-huh, and like that's all her dialogue for 15 straight minutes, and she says it a lot, like a ton of yes, of course sir. Like I was like, this is the most boring character I've ever seen, actually. She has no personality, nothing interesting going on. Just listens and says, yep, and that's her character. Opposite of Samus, in almost every way. Just not cool. Yeah. I'm not sure, like, who could possibly get anything out of playing as that character, honestly.
I'm doing a sound check for a Zora guy, band manager.
Very clean. Doesn't seem like there's any cables or anything on the stage, so I don't know what you're testing exactly. Just how it sounds from different stances to play an acoustic guitar, I guess.
All my instruments together.
So y'all don't like Symphony of the Night? I mean, I've tried it.
Same.
I don't dislike it.
I actually own it.
I just it never clicked with me in that way where it was like, oh, I gotta fucking, like, I gotta plow through this. I think a part of it is that, like, you have that very slow, deliberate movement of Castlevania 1, but not the slow, deliberate enemy placement.
Yeah.
So it's like the Metroid feeling of I'm overpowered as fuck and I'm just creaming through everything, but you literally move slow. Like your character looks like they're running fast, but they're not. It's so fucking weird. Every single one of them has that floaty ass animation where like the character seems to be like whole ass running and they're just like moving very normal speed, and like Samus fucking flies. She is going like,
yeah. I mean, I was like doing the backwards like backslide the whole time in Symphony of the Night, and that game is just fucking slow. Like, it's just slow and repetitive. Like, in Metroid, the enemies are designed in a way that they just kind of bounce around. At least in Super Metroid, like, the enemies bounce around somewhat aimlessly. They're more like obstacles for you to avoid, and you can shoot them out of the way if you want to. But, like, as you progress deeper into the game, it gets easier and easier for you to just blitz through, like, treat the enemies like they're nothing. Until like the late game where you fight the really tough guys, but you know, that's very deliberate. In Symphony of the Night, every room, like, I find the shape of the rooms a lot less memorable. I find the map a lot more sprawling and like less like Metroid kind of guides you in a way. Like, it doesn't like tell you where to go, but you kind of intuitively find your way to where you're supposed to be because of the way the map is laid out. Whereas Symphony of the Night, there's a lot more of me going, where do I go? And going back and forth through hallways where, to get from one end of the hallway to the other, you have no choice but to walk up to the enemy, hit it till it dies, then do the same to the next enemy. And it's just like the same enemy repeated 5 times, and you have to kill all 5 of them every time you go through that hallway. And like, that just sucks. Like, that's not, I don't know. I just thought it was really not fun.
To summarize the problem. um, as Aaron Hansen once did in
Is that what Aaron
Sequelitis
Hansen
Part
said?
1. It was about Castlevania 2 specifically, but
Oh.
yeah, that's where that design philosophy came from,
Yeah.
where like Castlevania's 1 and 3, literally every enemy placement matters. Like
Yeah.
you have to think about how to progress every step of the way. It's always a bespoke challenge. Almost nothing's repeated, and the game's only like half an hour long if you actually just plow through it. It's because it's so fucking hard that it's not half an hour long. Whereas Castlevania 2 is 4.5 hours long, and the difference is that level design. It's like walking down a hallway and hitting the same zombie with your whip twice, 6 times in a row, but it's not challenging because they just are right in the way of your whip anyways. Like they're not doing something that makes you be tactical about how you approach them. So most of the game just ends up being walk into a room, whack everything, leave room, you know? And in Metroid, like you were saying, you don't really even have to worry about the enemies. The game is just figuring out where to go and executing on getting there, you know? Sometimes you do have to kill the enemies, but it's only because it's like a specific aggressive encounter that usually has like some kind of unique logic to it, at least. Like it's not just smashing a big thing over and over again.
I just got this dude's sad old man mask. This is ridiculous.
Jump back to a bone skellies, I know.
Yeah, so basically Castlevania 1 is like Dark Souls, and Symphony of the Night is like, I don't know, Dynasty Warriors. Game where you, hack and slash game where you mash button.
That's a wild comparison, but I'll let it go. I mean, I have
I'll
no
allow it.
argument. People also love Dynasty Warriors, so that's not like an insult necessarily, unless
Oh,
you
I hate
personally...
Dynasty Warriors. It is an insult. Fuck those games.
I've never been a fan, but most of my friends really love Dynasty Warriors.
I'm gonna bully your friends. I'm gonna bully everyone who likes Dynasty Warriors.
Victor loves those games.
I'm gonna bully Victor. Get
They're
him on
the
here.
ideal like couch co-op, mindless, like I just want to make things die all day game. With a sword specifically.
Digit thinks Dynasty Warriors is fun. Of course you would think that.
I press button, things die. It's cool. It's true.
You know,
I like
there are like good
shmups,
games
like-
where you can do that. You know?
My favorite type of a mindless game is shmup games and like bullet hell games. And like to me there's a because like I get that part of the appeal with those games is that like there's so many enemies that you kind of always have to keep attacking. Like if you were to just stand there, you would lose because there's always enemies attacking you. But as long as you stay attacking, you are not going to lose. You know, like as long as you keep mashing the buttons, there's endless ways of stuff for you to blast through. And like, you know, there's all those games like Vampire Survivors that I think are in that same vein of like, it's just about the feeling of not only do you have to destroy things nonstop, but it's super satisfying to do so. And it's not even particularly difficult. It's just you can't stop, you know. And bullet hell games kind of have that feeling too, but it's more about maneuvering instead of attacking. You know, like you do tend to be constantly attacking in a bullet hell game, but you can hold down the attack button and you'll be constantly firing. And usually you have such a wide spread with your bullets that you'll hit things even if you're not really aiming. And so aiming is kind of like a luxury that as long as you're not being strained by how hard it is to dodge all the bullets on screen, you can aim, and that makes you feel like you're doing something more skilled. Whereas like if you're stuck dodging and you can't quite aim, it's like, well, at least I know I'm not completely doing nothing to the enemy, but I'm so much more focused on dodging that I can't like make them dead as quickly as I could if I was like, you know, more efficiently aiming. So that's like the push and pull that makes those games interesting to me. That, you know, I'm not saying there's not anything equivalent of like depth in the Dynasty Warriors games that I haven't played enough to know about, but that's what makes the shooter games endlessly appealing to me. They are also just harder than fucking balls though. So usually a session is like 5 to 15 minutes, you know, like 30 minutes if you actually beat the game, like in the average bullet hell game, but the chances of you actually doing that are pretty slim, so you're just going to keep running it over and over, like getting a little bit better, getting a little farther. And of course, if you're a real gamer, you start the whole thing over every time you have a continue.
Obviously. How much money do I
Because
have?
then you'll get better, develop more skills.
I love developing skills. I love being good at video games. That's why every time okay, if you ask me like what's the worst like Souls video game, it's always the newest one within like the first month of it coming out, because when it's new and I'm not good at it, it sucks. But then once I like force myself to play it like 5 times and then I get good at it, it's the best game ever.
The same thing is true of, I think, like any truly like complex and worthwhile art, honestly, is that like if it really requires you to soak it in, you're just like, that means you're not going to get it at first. Like if it's something that requires a level of like, kind of like a Death Stranding, fucking Super Bunny Hop just put out a video about like 5 books that that will help you understand that game better, and he was talking about how its reputation at first was like it mostly pissed people off, but over time it's come to be regarded as this kind of cult classic, and you know, people have like seen what the point of it is and understand it better. And I do think that like sometimes, you know, sometimes a thing is such a new taste that like nobody could have acquired the taste when it comes out. Like it takes a certain kind of determination of like, oh, this flavor is weird. Like I want to keep tasting this, figure out why do I like this, you know? And then end up making yourself like it.
I remember having a long debate with some of my friends. This was like years ago, but we had a very long debate because I told them if I watch a movie and it's really good, but then I watch it a second time and it's not good anymore, I don't think it was ever really that good to begin with. And they were like so intensely like focused on like, no, but like that's stupid because, you know, you can just have a one-off experience that's really good. And like, I don't know if I would phrase it the way I did at the time, but like I do think something that can be appreciated over and over again is like much, much more valuable. Like, I don't know.
I think it depends on why you're not appreciating it the next time. Because like, I think there's, so if you, let's say like there's a movie that you know you love, and then you know that you're not in the right space to watch that movie, you probably just won't because you already know what the movie is. Whereas like, you know, you're more likely to engage with something and give up on it, like, because you're not in the right headspace to watch it if it's something you're not familiar with already. And so I think that, like we have a tendency to, like, say a new Zelda game comes out. I think this is also something people experience a lot with Zelda. For me, I actually think of, like, the Mars Volta albums, because back when I was a teenager, every time a new Mars Volta album came out, I don't know about one, and then eventually I'd end up loving it. Actually, just lots of, just anytime a new album from a band comes out, you have to like get yourself ready for, this is not going to be the album I already love from them, you know. It's I have to develop my own relationship to this. It's a new piece, you know. But I think that's hard for people to do, especially when it like has the same name or has some of the same elements, the thing they love, and they want it to be that thing so badly, but like you just got to take it on its own terms. I feel like I had another point to make and I forgot it. They just said I could see that you start to notice the flaws and whatnot. Oh, right, about liking it less the second time and whether that diminishes it.
Like, not even just seeing the flaws, but like I think at the time my argument was mostly because I told my friends I didn't care for like M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense, And they were telling me like, oh, it was just such a huge, awesome twist the first time I watched it. And I'm like, yeah, I already knew the twist. And like, I don't know, I watched it a couple times. I just don't give a fuck about that movie.
Yeah.
And like, I
I
don't know.
definitely think that like a second experience that's worse can sour the way you feel about the first experience you had, because it makes you feel like you were naive before. Like
Yeah.
you only liked it because there was something you didn't know yet that now you know, and it, you know, you feel differently. And definitely with movies where like the twist, like there's tons of movies where people are like, oh well, I can't see it now that I already know the twist, and it's like that just means it sucks.
Yeah.
Like if the whole movie sucks until the ending, then it's not a good movie.
Yeah, you'd think
If
it'd
it's
be like,
fun to watch, then you know.
yeah. 'Cause that's what I told my friends at the time, basically. And like, the more I'm remembering this argument, the more I'm feeling like I was in the right the whole time. Which is just that regardless of whether you're surprised or not, like, you should just be able to enjoy the experience of watching the movie. Like, if it's
Yeah,
not,
for
if
sure.
nothing's enjoyable besides not knowing what's going to happen, I don't think it's that great.
I think a lot of people view media more as a roller coaster type experience.
Yeah.
Like my mom has complained to me a few times where she watched a movie where she expected that it was going to make her cry and it didn't. And she was like, I don't know, I didn't even cry. You know, and it was odd to me because I've never really, I mean, there are some movies that like I'm thinking that looks like it's gonna make me cry, but I've never gone into a movie like this better make me cry or I'm gonna want a fucking refund. You know, like I never gone into a movie like looking to get a very, but I have on the other hand gone into movies where I was expecting a certain amount of action and didn't get that and was dissatisfied.
Yeah.
You know, like especially when I was a teenager. But that was also me. I see that as just me being an unsavvy consumer and like not really, like if you really want it to be something that specific, you need to make sure that's what you're gonna get. You know, like before you go into it, or else how much can you really complain? Although some of there's false advertising involved sometimes, but like, I definitely feel like the mentality where you're like, I just want this movie to have something that like I can take away. Like if for a lot of people the ending is all they view the movie as like a vehicle to get to an ending, and as long as the ending is something memorable, that is the movie. That's the takeaway. It's like all of that was to get here, and now I have this thing, and the takeaway was, oh, the kid could see dead people and he was dead all along, you know, and you go, wow, I can't believe it. I didn't see it coming the whole time. But like the thing that's supposed to make the movie good is that when you rewatch it knowing that, you notice details and themes and like stuff that it suggests about what the movie really meant, you know, like, oh, you thought it had these themes, but it actually goes deeper because now you
Yeah.
can look at it through this new lens.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like you said, if it's not like, if that experience when you go back through isn't actually as gratifying as you expect, then it's like, well, I don't know, it was, you know, yes, it surprised me, but that didn't make it a good movie in perpetuity, you know.
I think the best stories are layered and age like fine wine, while I don't care so much for like flash in the pan, like go to see it in the theater and it's really cool and then it's never cool again. I want to read this cutscene real quick.
I commanded the Ikana army of Ikana Kingdom atop the hill. I am called Skulkita.
Nice.
Since being shamed by loss in a battle within my kingdom, I have waited here for one to come and awaken my soul. Young swordsman who has awakened and deftly defeated me. I shall rely on your power to fulfill my request. I ask you to take my soul, which rests in this fiercely burning flame, and convey my words to my men, who even in death remain loyal to me. Tell them the war has ended. Then I shall be able to drift quietly to sleep. Captain, sir. May I take leave, sir? Yes, sir.
It's moments like this that make this game so memorable. Just feels weirdly more mature than other Zelda games. Not in like a oh, it's like edgy like in Twilight Princess, but like this is not talking down to me.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, on the subject of like rewatching a movie and it getting worse or better, like, I mean, just the fact that there are so many pieces of media that you can watch again and again and it does get better, like,
Yeah.
makes it feel like if you watch something once and it's a great experience and then you watch it again and it's not that great of experience, like, it doesn't necessarily take away from the first time being great, but does that really compare to something that like gets better every time? Like, you know, in the long term you're just gonna have more of a relationship with the media that you want to keep returning to. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the difference between a one night stand and a fucking like life partner, you know? Like, yeah, sure, a one night stand is probably fun, but like if you realize very quickly I don't want to ever have a relationship with a person, then there's no reason to keep talking about it for the rest of your life as like, oh yeah, that was a great experience or whatever. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it was a thing that happened in my life once, you know. Now I've got all these beautiful things I love in my life that you can talk about because you've formed those relationships.
Let's talk to this dead guy.
Huh? Ah, Captain, sir! Excuse me, sir! Everyone give the captain your attention! We haven't seen you in some time, Captain, sir. As per your orders, sir, we've been guarding these graves closely. We have all been expecting your next order, sir. What shall we do? Yes, sir, we'll continue with this strategy, sure.
Oh wait, I
Yes, sir.
hit the wrong thing. Open the grave, goddammit.
Well, open it. Yes, sir. Everyone, follow me.
This is totally the kind of dopey ass voice.
Destroy it.
Oh, here we go.
One way to
We've
open it.
officially entered
Oh,
my favorite
shit.
section of the game, by
Oh,
the
this
way.
looks fucking awesome. Yeah, I see. I mean, underground tunnel shit is my favorite shit, but especially with like the open sky canopy. This looks just like Elden Ring, actually. The fucking little gargoyle cave.
True.
I'm gonna turn the light on, and I also gotta piss, so I'll be back in a second.
I'm twirling the control stick like a fiend. There we go. They're all dead. Welcome to the Krona Show, everybody. I did a Krona Show last night, and I streamed myself playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and struggling because that game is kind of booty, but I want to stream a bunch more Sonic games. I want to finish out Sonic Origins and then do the adventure games because everybody loves those. There we go. Oh, this game is so epic. Oh my god, it's the Iron Knuckle. This dude was in Ocarina. Fought like 3 of these. Would have been there last night, but mine and Ash's last night together. They left earlier and I've only cried 4 times. Oh my god, yeah. I used to get that all the time when like, especially like early into my relationship with Josh, when we would have our like in-person visits and then it would come time to like go home. Oh my god, it sucks. It sucks so bad. Holy shit. I'm fighting the Iron Knuckle, but now it's faster.
Oh shit.
Like
So-
all the enemy AI in this game is like smarter than an Ocarina. All the enemies are more aggressive. I feel like I stand like a bigger chance of dying in this game.
Well, this is trippy. So for several hours now, every time I look out the window in the bathroom...
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let's read this. Are you the one who freed my soul?
Oh, it's Luigi.
Zip it. I served the Icona royal family. I am the composer called Flat. The songs connected to the royal family that remain here were all by my brother and I.
His brother Mario.
Oh, sharp, my dear brother. He sold his soul to the devil and was the one who locked me in here. The devil exists in this universe? You do not fear the dead. Learn well the song that is inscribed behind me. And if you ever meet my brother, I'd like you to inform him. The 1,000 years of raindrops summoned by my song are my tears. The thunder that strikes the earth is my anger. I have made my request.
Okay. I learned
Yeah,
the
whatever
song.
the fuck that means.
I learned the song.
I'll tell him. He's gonna be like, I don't care.
1,000 years of raindrops summoned by the song of my tears. The thunder that strikes the earth is my anger. Here is written the song that shall cleanse his cursed black soul.
Oh.
That sounds familiar.
It's just the fucking Song of Storms. All that edgy nonsense, and it was just the Song of Storms. Desperdane's right, thunder does not strike things.
Fucking Flat is just rotting in this tomb for eternity, losing his mind, going, I wrote some really sick lyrics about what a dick my brother is.
The smell of a thunderous fart might catch your nostril. Strikingly.
I hate my brother. He smells like ass. I want to kill him so hard that blood comes out, and I'm gonna throw my head back and laugh like the Joker.
It's the cringiest possible. Oh, here we go. That's what the Jawa mask is for.
Right, I was gonna say that outside my bathroom window for several hours, I keep seeing like a thread of spider silk go from somewhere I can't see on the left to somewhere I can't see on the right, and then immediately get blown away by the wind.
Oh god.
And it's been happening for hours. So some spider is out there determined, like every 30 seconds, like clockwork, like shooting out a web way too far. I can't tell where to where. I only see it, and then it just blows away, like instantly.
Jesus.
Like, dog, try something else. Like, any other place. Maybe he's stuck. Maybe he can't move. He can only fucking. But it's not aim elsewhere. Is all I'm saying. Might be baby setting sail. Do they have like such a visible? It's like very visible. So I was thinking it must be some big ass spider.
Oh my god.
Also, it's been going for a while, so they got a lot of thread.
Master, you called. What are you?
What the fuck is going on here? You got knife wielding Star Wars guys.
Because I'm wearing the mask of their leader.
Oh, I see.
Regrettable. Although my rival, you were spectacular. I shall take my bow by opening my heart and revealing my
Beat him
wisdom.
in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
To cross the valley of Icona, aim at the river beasts with the arrowhead that freezes. Belief or disbelief rests with you. To die without leaving the corpse, that is the way of a Scarrow.
Oh shit.
It's pretty
He
funny.
acted really badass, but he fucking fought like dog shit.
Yep.
Frozen. Oh.
I love the way that ice works in these games. Like, you touch it and you just instantly freeze.
Everybody in chat, tell us what video games you've played this week.
Dragon
Don't know what video
Quest 7.
games. You just played Dragon Quest 7 and that's it.
No.
Since the last time we convened 2
I-
days ago.
No, I ordered a copy of Sonic and Knuckles on eBay, and it arrived today, and I attached it to my
Respect
Sonic 3
Knuckles!
cartridge. And I played Sonic 3
Nice.
and Knuckles on a Sega, and it was amazing.
I've seen so many people talk about how good that game is, and the oldest one I can remember is a really good video by a guy called Satchbags Goods. And he was just like, yeah, it's like the greatest, and talked about all the reasons why. And I was like, that sounds dope. Doesn't really look like my type of game. I'll take your word for it.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the best. One of the best Sonic games for sure. There's an army of Gibdos marching around this house.
Tell me what you think of this proposition I've got, which is that Metroid and Sonic and Kirby have surprisingly similar design philosophies in terms of their level design. Not so much like the overall world design, although Kirby and Amazing Mirror is like closer to Metroid. But
Is it Kirby, Sonic, and Metroid?
yeah.
How?
So my reasoning is that all of them are games where like most classic games of their time period, like if you fuck up you just die and you have to do it again. But those games all let you kind of just like get hit and lose a little health, but like you could recover and you can just keep going. And so you can kind of stumble your way through the game, but if you are really good at it, play it in a way where it's like you're just non-stop moving, destroying everything and making it look like the easiest game in the universe.
I guess
So I feel like all of them, like, they just have like more room for error and experimentation and like, you know, choosing how you're gonna deal with the problem instead of having to like precisely do exactly one thing that is definitely the solution.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I kind of see that as most action games that I play. I gravitate towards stuff where I'm allowed to mess up constantly.
Not into the precision platformers as much.
Yeah. Like, when I try playing more precision platformers, like, I tried this one that was an indie game that was, like, inspired by Crash Bandicoot, and I just couldn't, because it was trying to be like Crash Bandicoot, but, like, even harder. And Crash is already so fucking
Crash
annoying.
is already fucking hard,
Yeah.
How do you feel about, like, Mario 3?
I love Mario 3, but I'm not good at it, so I don't love it as much as I love Mario World, which I find much easier. Yeah.
I can't even make it past like the early ass levels in either of those, Mario 3 or Mario World. I'll make it to like level 3 and I'm fucked
Just
already.
put it this way, I've beaten Mario World dozens of times. I've only beaten Mario 3 one time, and it was with help.
Damn.
What business have you in a kind of kingdom, land where only the dead roam? It's a me, a Mario.
Oh my goodness.
His brother. This is no place for one full of life as you. Or do you say that you wish to join the dead? That is fine. If that is the case, then sleep gently to the melody of darkness that the great composer sharp shall play, and join the ranks of the dead, mamma mia. Alright.
Oh my lord. Not the most Italian accent I've ever heard, I gotta say.
Like, what's his name in Inglourious Bastards? They're pretending to be Italian.
Gorlami.
Arrivederci.
Antonio Margarete. Dominican the Coco.
Listen, I'm not an expert on accents, okay? I'm just a gamer. I do have a pretty good British accent, though.
Oh no.
You know it's true.
Well, at least our schools are a shooting gallery.
Blimey, will you have a fucking crumpet in your arsehole, will you? When you got a foot out with you. The water wheel activates the music box on that music house. And the music makes the Gibdos shut the fuck up.
is like torqued and fucked. This is some Evangelion type shit. Now they're fucking. What are they doing? Are they just going back? They're just done? They're like, alright, I don't want to be awake no more. I'm
Peace.
ready to sleep. This game is just like weird shit all the time.
Yeah. It's very dreamlike. I love it quite a bit.
Kind of reminded me of Nope. You ever seen Nope?
Nope.
You should watch that. It's really, really good.
I should.
It's got a part where they've got a whole like desert worth of wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man, so they're trying to use it to summon like a fucking biblically accurate angel. I never
Did
did
you
Click.
ever
I've
seen
heard a
Click?
lot of memes about it though.
I have seen Click. I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid because someone reminded me that there's like a really transphobic joke near the beginning, and I don't feel like watching it.
He finds the remote in the Beyond section of the Bed Bath and Beyond,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I really like that specific conceit.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had this idea for a I wanted to make a trans magical girl way back in like 2014. That was a character named Wishgiver Salome, and she would get all of her assignments from Nyarlathotep, the Lovecraftian god, which in the story Nyarlathotep, he's presented as like this Egyptian demon god thing that shows up and just like shows people weird movies that make them insane. And so I wanted to imagine that he'd be hanging out in a video store like watching movies all day, like trying to find the weirdest movies to show people. And so like basically Salome would get her like missions or whatever by going to the local FYE and just going into like the back of the used section, and there'd just be Nyarlathotep back there like watching VHS tapes and giving her assignments. So I the Bed Bath and Beyond thing made me think of that. I love the fucking colors in this house.
Yeah, this is like one of my favorite set pieces in the game.
I want a house that looks like this with all the fucking cyan everywhere.
Wanted to give special attention to this moment because this freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. Sneaking into this like little girl's music house, going into the basement when
They're gonna
suddenly
be a fucking oh no!
what the fuck?
I am Mega Man.
This mummy looks different, sort of like it's here waiting for its human heart to be healed. Well, do something. Haven't you figured it out yet?
She's like, hey, don't immediately murder this thing. I think it might be kind of human.
If you try to like pull your sword out, the little girl just comes in and stops you and kicks you out of the house. But I know better.
Oh, so she's trying to hide this.
Yes.
I see. It's like at the end of Shaun of the Dead when he keeps his zombie friend.
Yeah, his loser friend is a zombie, and they just play video games together in the shed.
Papa? Oh, it's the girl.
Father!
Oh, they even voiced it themselves.
Pamela.
Pamela! I like how I always go for the stupidest voice possible, and you always go for like a serious, like, dramatic voice.
What have I been doing this whole time?
This guy would be voiced by Don Knotts. That's true. Don Knotts is like a fictional character to me because I was too young for him to be famous within my life, but he was in like Scooby-Doo reruns and shit. Like, I was like, who the fuck is Don Knotts? Like, why are they making such a big deal out of meeting this guy? And then he has like a funky face and voice, so it's like, okay, I guess he makes sense as a cartoon character, but I still don't know what he's famous for. You know who I'm talking about, Krona, at all? Do you
No.
remember everything? He would show up in like random fucking cartoons. I think he might have. I'm sure there's at least one you've seen before he was dead. Yeah, he was like a famous actor who just did a lot of cameo roles because he was He kind of looks like Steve Buscemi. So he was kind of like the Steve Buscemi of his time, but he died in like 2006. So, he was in like a bunch of he's in like, do you remember the old Scooby-Doo cartoons? They'd like hang out with Batman and shit.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, he was in one of those. He was in Robot Chicken as himself.
God.
Johnny Bravo as himself. Again, just random fucking places. Garfield and Friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you'd specifically have ever seen him in, but he was in a ton of shit in his lifetime. One of them Hollywood guys. He's famous for the Andy Griffith Show? Okay. Knew Gary would know.
Five. What the fuck? Okay. I'm going to.
I
commit a
definitely feel
crime.
like in terms of understanding media, video games created like the biggest generational cultural divide where like people my age and younger know the names Shigeru Miyamoto and fucking Hidetaka Miyazaki, and like we do not know the names of like a lot of old Hollywood and, you know, like people who used to be famous before the video game era, because like you kind of had to grow up seeing those people on TV all the time to feel like they're just a natural presence, you know. And like if you grew up playing video games instead, it just didn't, you know, you didn't see enough of them old celebrities to like get familiar.
I'm now looking up a list of items I need to bring with me to get through this little mini dungeon under the well.
Here's a strange question, and I don't blame you if you have no answer for it, but
Huh.
who is the oldest person you could think of that you are like a fan of? Like definitively whatever they make, you're gonna check it out, and they're just fucking old.
Christ, I have no idea. I mean,
Like I don't think you would qualify as that big a fan necessarily that you would check out everything they do. But for example, like what's his name? Gandalf. Sir Ian McKellen? Is that
Yeah.
Gandalf? That's like a dude who you could be like, yeah, that guy's cool. Like he's old, but he seems obviously just lit. Like everything he's done is sick, and he's still sick. You know, nobody's out there like canceling fucking Gandalf. They just said would about Ian McKellen. You'd break him. He's like 80 something. He can't be doing that kind of stuff anymore. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. He might be in decent shape, but he looked old even in the goddamn Lord of the... He didn't put his staff in my ring.
you just gotta get me like a tier list. If I can just make a tier list of elderly people.
That would be hilarious. Tier list of old celebrities.
Elderly tier list. Can tier them on how
It's
elderly they are.
fascinating. Like, it trips me out how, you know, when someone is actually long lived, you can be expecting them to die for like 20 straight years. And then, like, in the meantime, all these young people you don't expect to die do. And it's just like, God damn, like, you know, 20 years I've been, like, bracing myself for this dude to die. And meanwhile, 20 other people I was not ready for just, like, tore me to shreds. By the time this guy's actually gone, I'm going to be like, yeah, of course, he's fucking 90. Like, I was ready 20 years ago. The oldest person who died in, like, or rather I should say the first person who I was like a fan of and then they died was Roger Ebert. I got into like maybe 3 years before he died, so it was very like, oh man, I'm still like discovering this guy, and like he's just gone. Never even watched the show that he was like known for either. I just read his reviews from later in life.
How many fucking beans did I just get? 5? 5. Okay, perfect. Getting the shopping list. Got the shopping list ready. How many nuts do I have? Do I have any nuts? I didn't have any nuts. Alright, time to go nut hunting. Let's go get some nuts. Nut. Get away. I was not trying to talk to you, you fucker.
Um, obviously Hayao Miyazaki
Oh yeah, obviously.
is still goated. He's like 80s.
I knew Hayao Miyazaki was a real one when I bought the Blu-ray of Nausicaa, and like I flipped through the little book that came in the Blu-ray, and there was like just paragraphs upon paragraphs about how like the process of remastering Nausicaa and how like just Miyazaki complaining about the way Disney remastered their movies and how ass they all look and how the colors are horrid. I don't know.
Something he would do, yeah.
Being straight up, like, yeah, Disney movies look like shit. We're not doing that. Gonna try to keep our movies as accurate to like what they originally looked like as possible.
Masao Maruyama, who's the president of Madhouse, is like the oldest dude that I'm like a huge fan of. That I've been like, you know, like as long as I've known about him, he's been older than fuck. So I've always been like, all right, like, you know, it's gonna happen at some point, but he's still there. And a lot of the classic Madhouse directors are still around, even though they're old as fuck. That's the nice thing about anime is that Japanese people are generally long-lived unless they work themselves to death, which does happen a lot in that industry.
You know, they said that Kentaro Miura did not in fact work himself to death, and that in the later years of his life he was taking way more breaks. But I've seen what Berserk looks like, so I find that a little hard to believe.
I think that sometimes you just like you can't. Some people are not like. What's the phrasing I'm looking for? Some people aren't built to last. You know, like some people are here for a good time, not a long time. You know. When you read Berserk, you don't come away from it feeling like whoever made this is like a healthy guy that's gonna live really long. You feel like, wow, whoever made this is haunted.
True.
Probably not really okay, you know. Something happened. Something happened that made this man decide he's going to dissociate into Idolmaster for years. Now that he's got the money to do whatever he wants. Dissociating into Idolmaster now, trying to remember that one song that I like from those games. It's been too long. I still reference the opening theme of the Idolmaster anime all the time because it starts off with the girls all saying in unison, "Are you ready? I'm lady."
What?
But they say it like,
Are you ready? I'm ready.
and I don't know if it's just that they're trying to say, "Are you ready? I'm ready," but like they just said it like because ready, and then they say ladies, or like the different pronunciation implies it's a different word.
Yeah.
Seems like they're saying lady in English. If that is the intent, it's hilarious. It's really funny. But I say, "Are you ready? I'm late." Time. Because, you know, that's how you express being ready for something appropriately. Bum, 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 bum. So are we headed to the final zone yet?
Yeah. There's like a mini dungeon where you go underneath a well and you have to do like a trading sequence with some mummies. And I'm collecting things for that now. That fucker. There we go. I got a fish. What is in this chest? Is this just money?
Gary asked, how do we know when the next request stream is? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't, like, plan things that, like, I don't know. Sometimes y'all will ask me questions, and I'm like, you've thought about this more than I have. Like, but it's the kind of thing where, like, it's really... There's an extent to which I like to try to be open about, like, what I'm doing and, like what my intent is, in part because I like helping other people and like giving them the playbook too. But there is an extent to which it's just not a good idea to always like, you know, be very like publicly forward about every single thing you're doing or planning or when everything is gonna like. If I want, like, if I have a schedule for something that I want you to know, I'll make sure you know it. It won't ever be you that's out of the loop. It's never gonna be like, oh, did I miss something, Trixie, where you said it's gonna be at this time? Like, if you feel like you missed something, it's because it just happened suddenly, you know, like when we launched this up again, like we didn't announce it. Like, it's not that anybody missed an announcement or something, like we just found a chance and we went for it because it was better than waiting around.
Yeah.
Having to deliberately, like, you know, postpone for a day just so that we could get people ready. It's like, well, we don't know if circumstances are going to change tomorrow, so, you know. It's different when you have, like, I think a lot of people expect for an independent production to follow the same logic as, like, a show, and it just won't unless it is a show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a level where, like, this is literally a show, but it doesn't have like a production behind it, you know? Like, it's just like us, and we both have like day jobs and there's stuff going on. Well, I shouldn't say I have a day job, but I have another, you know, I do work outside of this channel, and that like attention divisiveness always makes it something where it's like, okay, well, this will get as much effort as like can be afforded to it, but you know, I can't treat any specific thing I do like it's the same as a more like mainstream product where there's like a set of expectations of how things would work, you know? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think so.
How do you feel about this? You have to like, you are also a creative, a streamer, and a YouTuber, like...
Somewhat, yeah.
You say somewhat, but I mean, at this point, are you like, you're not streaming it any less than I am. If anything, you've actually streamed more than me, because you streamed yesterday in between today and
well,
2 days ago stream.
I'm like actively trying to get back in the swing of things. I feel I took kind of a long break. Not that long, but like, oh fuck. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know, I took a break and I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things. It's like, it's weird. When I'm not doing YouTube stuff, I don't feel like a YouTuber. It's like the streams are fun, but it's like, I don't know.
I feel like, so to me,
I just have imposter syndrome, I guess.
I think part of this is that, like, I've been on the inside of it long enough to know how other people's operations are.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just, like, it's not very often that someone is really doing it, like, alone. Or even just, like, the way that you and I are.
Yeah.
We're both kind of our own enterprise, and then we interact, but, like, neither one of us literally works for the other person. Like, you're not my editor. I'm not, you know, I don't have like a team or whatever. Yeah. And like really almost everyone does who like who is making any money off. There's this, I started following one of those, you know, generic like self-help business type guys who's like, here's how I build my business and how you can build your business. And he's very adamant about like, you should have an assistant, like, because otherwise, like, you're just doing all this busy work, and that means you've got to, you know, you're not really the boss, you're the employee, and so you should have employees. And I'm like, it's kind of funny to think like to give that advice, because it necessitates that someone has to be the employee, right? Like if everyone's following this guy advice and trying to be a boss and no one's trying to be an employee, then who are those bosses employing, you know? Like, it's fascinating how like averse people are to the like the employee status, but on
Yeah.
YouTube, almost every time it's like somebody who is a smaller YouTuber is almost always editing for a bigger YouTuber because they know they can't do it on that. Like they know they can't do what that guy can. You know, like the guys who edit FD Signifier videos, like they also have YouTube channels. They also are interesting and make great points and everything, but like they just aren't him. They don't have that. They're not that guy, you know.
Yeah.
So like there's a level where like my dad is always telling me the reason that he's so adamant that he thinks I can do this career no matter what is that he's always, you have the it factor. You have there's just something like, you know, you have the ability to just talk into a microphone and people are going to listen no matter what. Might not be that many, but somebody's going to listen. And I think you have that same it factor, which is why I like working with you so much, because I'm always like, well, Krona is as much like you are as capable of it as I am.
I sure hope so.
It's just a matter of like it's literally just a matter of like how many people will accept us as the like the avatar of their entertainment, you know? Like it could be any number of people who have a similar kind of vibe, but it's like, are you willing to, you know, gel with the slime dolls, you know?
Oh, thank you, Guilty Gonk. That's really sweet.
That's one of the most refreshing voices I've heard on YouTube in a long time. I agree.
What the fuck did
I
this guy
agree.
say? Talking to mummies and you at the same time. 10 refreshing blasts? What's refreshing about bombs?
I really like working with Krona and with Rhyme Kickflips in particular because I see you two as like the greatest torchbearers of what I think my influence is.
Yeah.
Like, because there's lots of people who have copied the analysis video style. And like, if you... So, okay, my friend Riley of ASC Presents and Young Clippaverse fame... I should call him Young Clippa. The Clippaverse fame. Young Clippa has accused me of being responsible for like Mauler and Critical Drinker. Like he thinks that's all my fault because like I made and you know Joseph Anderson and all that. Which
definitely
to
Joseph
me,
Anderson.
So here's what I think it is. I think it's that Matthew Matosis caused Joseph Anderson, and then Joseph Anderson caused EFAP. But I do think that I facilitated all of that being possible. You know, like me and Matthew Matosis are absolutely contemporaries, same as Noah Caldwell Gervais, and you know, we were all influenced by Ego Raptor and Errant Signal and you know, Mr. B-Tongue and all of the classic video game analysts who existed in the early 2010s, you know. So like all of us were kind of responsible for it, but yes, I was definitely a big part of pushing the videos to get long and more like I'm gonna fucking every single second of it, every frame of it I'm gonna complain. Like I definitely pushed that. So I understand why he wants to hold me responsible. Mostly he's just hoping I'll go to war with them. He's hoping that if I feel responsible, I will take responsibility and try to fight them. Which you want to do.
Yeah.
So it should happen.
There's probably not much reason to do that anymore since Mauler is kind of dead. Like, he doesn't make videos, really. He just does the EFAP streams, and they don't get as many views as they used to because they're just old hat at this point. Like, no one really fucking cares, but I don't know.
Damn,
that would just make it more doable to destroy their careers, though. Like, what I really want to do is just, like, I don't want to, like, debate them or whatever, because that shit's cringe as fuck. Like, that's just meeting them where they're at, and I don't want to stoop to their level. I just want to, like, make them look... I want them to be, like, embarrassed in front of their audience, you know? Like, I want their fans to realize how fucking lame they are. That would be my goal. But, just make them look stupid.
I honestly think at this point that, like, we are literally resplendent with great analysis videos because I think people have kind of casually figured out how to... They're not hard to make, right? Like, it's more a matter of can you do it over and over and over again? That's the part that makes it hard. Is like, Okay, well, sure, you had an idea for a really cool analysis that got 6 million views, but like, do you have another? You know, like, is there another that you're capable of? And like, I've seen plenty of video, like, channels at this point that really do only have like 1 or 2 videos in that style, and they just do other things, you know, because like,
Yeah.
really, they just had a burning desire to get this point. Like, they weren't trying to become an analysis YouTuber, they just were like, I really need to say my piece on this game, you know, and like, this is a style of video that lets you do that. So, like, that's the kind of stuff that makes me the happiest, is that it's not so much like that it's a career path as that it's a method of communication, you know, that
Yeah.
anybody could use and pick up as necessary. Um, so like, I see the positive side of my influence is like, okay, everybody knows how to make analysis videos, and they're pretty commonplace. But like, format wise, most of them are pretty boring, and like, most of them are really only copying like the most basic aspects of what my videos like propose, you know. Like, I feel like there's the surface level of what my videos were about, which is like the experience of just listening to someone like sound smart and say a bunch of analytical things about like media. And then there's the deeper level of like, okay, but what am I actually saying about the media? You know, like, what is the actual take? Not just that I sound smart, but like, you know, what am I saying that's actually smart? And I feel like there's certain people like you or like Rhyme who, like, the way you present your videos says that you got more out of what I was saying than just like the form. It's like your videos make similar points, or like you say things that maybe I didn't say but I have thought, and like, you say it and I think, oh yeah, that's what I would have said, you know. That's exactly how I feel about that. And I'm glad that somebody else is saying it, you know. And so, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I see you as like the best products of, and not that like you are only the product of my influence or anything, but that like of anything that is, you know, in part because of what I did. Y'all are the ones that make me go, oh, thank God I did all that, because now I get to see this, you know.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Just like paid attention to your shit when I was younger and learned a lot from it. Oh my god, I'm so close to dying. I'm like fucking. No. It's hard to like concentrate on talking. I'm sorry.
Lace Argar said, I was entirely unaware that Idolmaster and Love Live were separate properties. That's really funny. Fucking hilarious. And also said, I see what Trixie's dad is saying. I found your light novel audiobook epitomized that. Well, thank you. And I really like my fiction writing. I'm just like, I'm extremely particular about it, and it's hard. I can't like make myself do it, you know? Like, I've never been able to think like, oh, well, I want there to be a complete story, and so therefore I'm going to sit down and keep coming up with ideas until there's a complete story. It's like, every once in a while I have an idea for one of my stories, and then it's like, okay, now I know a little bit more of what's going to happen, but that doesn't mean that, you know, it's going to lead to more necessarily. It's just like, every once in a while I think, oh, here's an interesting idea of how that could continue, you know. And then I may or may not write that down, or it may or may not be like long enough to be like a thing worth releasing. But I feel like I have felt since I was like 10 that my destiny is to write a good fiction story that has like characters people really love, and like, you know, there's Gary always really loves a few characters from Kusamega. Probably the only person who I can say like I definitively know really loves characters from one of my books, you know. But like I still want to complete Kusamega, but it's not exactly a priority of mine, just because like the book is heavily tied up in who I was at the time that I was tremendously changed in the time since then. So like, making it make sense in part requires to like not like not shift the identity too hard without like making sense of it. There was already a lot of stuff I had pre-planned for it, but like not everything, you know. Bird loves them too, I think. I mean, he enjoyed reading, like hearing the characters. I don't think he remembers them in like the way that you do, you know. I don't think if I asked him to name a Kusomega character, come with, well, he's at work right now, but you know, I don't think he'd be able to if he,
Do you ever feel?
Nor do I think most people who read it, even people who enjoy it, would be able to. What's that?
I was gonna say, do you ever feel like upset when people who are close to you like don't acknowledge things about like your art, or like just don't really care for it?
Constantly. But it depends on the person and the context as well. Where like,
Yeah.
like I said, Bird likes Kusomega. He listened to it with me in the car and enjoyed it, and that is like, of any part of my content, one of the few things that I would expect him to like, because he likes fiction and he likes lore and he likes fun stories, and it's, you know, it's fun, it's funny, it's exciting, it's full of like high concept ideas. So yeah, it's absolutely the kind of story he would enjoy, which is why I expected him to and was not surprised he did. I was happy he did, you know. But like when it comes to my music, for instance, it is almost never something that he would casually listen to, you know, or ever at all listen to. Like a lot of it, a lot of my music, he is straight up never listened to. Like even the new stuff, you know, like stuff that I've released this year, he has not really sat down with. Sometimes I will force him, and he'll like give it an obligatory listen and be like, "Good job, honey," you know, like it's usually. But like it's just not his like. He doesn't listen to that much music as it is, and it's definitely not this type, you know. So like, again, I'm not like mad at him for not listening to my music because it's not for him, you know. If I wanted to make music for him, there's a specific type of music I could make that he would enjoy, but it's not really the type of music I make, you know.
Yeah.
And likewise, he doesn't really watch like he watches yappy videos, but not about like philosophical topics or like social issues and the kind of stuff that I talk about. He mostly watches like lore videos and recaps and, you know, stuff that explains a thing that happened, basically. Not as much like interpretive or opinionated kind of stuff. He really likes like Wendigoon. Like that's like his platonic ideal of a YouTuber, is like a guy who's just gonna tell him about a crazy thing, you know,
That's
in as
pretty
much
funny.
detail as possible.
When I try to show Josh a video I made, he usually doesn't want to watch it because he's usually somewhat involved in the making of it, like filming it, or usually he has heard me editing the same clip 30 times.
Bird hates that too. If he has to hear something he already heard, he cannot stand that.
Yeah. So he's just like, I feel like I've already seen this.
Yeah, I long gave up on the idea that anybody I cared about was going to care about the things I make. I gave up on that as a child.
Damn.
And really, I would say that where it probably started was that when I was 10, going on 11, like the summer I turned 11, that summer I wrote a magazine, 95-page Nintendo magazine on lined paper using my aunt had a light board, so I had traced a bunch of images out of Nintendo Power. You know, basically all the information in it was taken from Nintendo Power. That's all the information I had, but like you know, it was my own takes, my own, like, I, you know, faked a whole mailbag segment. I did all the reviews, I did all the articles, I did ads and everything for, like, my own band that didn't exist, a Pokemon movie. Like, made this whole magazine, and I could not get one single person to read it. Like, you know, like, my dad's like, well, I don't know anything about video games, you know? My mom's like, yeah, I don't know anything about video games. Like, it's 95 pages long. I'll look at it, you know, like Victor didn't really read, so I wasn't like gonna get him to read it. So it's like I wrote this whole thing and like no one cared, It was just for me. It was something I did for me, and you know, nobody was hyped about it or anything. Nobody was excited that I had been doing it. It wasn't, you know. So I got used to that right then and there, and like from that point forward, I really would show anything I did to anybody. Like I wrote tons and tons of like songs and poems and short stories and fanfics and stuff as a teen, and I did not show them to anybody I knew really. And again, if I tried, they usually just did not care. So I wasn't gonna try to push it or like force them. It was just like whatever. My special interest. This is why I've been on the internet since I was a kid. Also, well, nobody around me cares about the shit that I care about. So you know,
True.
I'll take it to the internet. And usually nobody online cared either. But at some point, I figured out the secret sauce. Which is really just storytelling. Like, if you can tell a compelling story, people will stick around for it. And you could tell stories about stories sometimes. Which is my favorite type of story to tell, is a story about a story.
The fuck
What is
do I
happening right now? What are you looking for?
I'm
Seem trapped.
stuck. I don't know how to get off of this ledge without falling into the abyss.
This temple feels very Wind Waker to me, for sure.
This isn't even like the dungeon. This is like a mini dungeon before the real dungeon. This is the Akana Castle.
Guilty Gonk says nothing hurts quite like when you catch people's body language shifting because you've been info dumping too long. Simply something I don't let happen to me. But again, I don't like all the sharing I do is on these fucking live shows. Like I don't go around talking to people like normally the way I do on the internet. You know, I'm quiet in real life. This is my sharing circle. This is my time to be social.
An invisible platform.
like-
I should have used the lens of truth. I'm a dummy.
I know some people who cannot, like, who the body language will not indicate to them to stop in info dumping. They just simply will keep on going.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I quickly start to notice if someone's drifting. I didn't so much as a kid, but I'm the type to like kind of quiz you at least, or like ask, like I want your opinion. You know, I'm not talking to somebody to not get their response. So if I start asking somebody for their thoughts on what I'm saying and then they can't, like, Victor would very easily dissociate, like, because I used to rant for so long and it was almost always at him. He was the only person who was like, you know, like a captive audience to me for most of our childhood. So I would just be going on and on and on, and then ask him a question and realize he has no idea what I'm saying. He's just like standing there staring blankly, and now I can immediately tell. Like I can recognize the exact moment he starts to associate, and instead I just talk to him slowly because I've realized that it's that he will think about everything you say.
Yeah.
So whatever you put in front of him, you have to give him a second to think about it, or else he's gonna miss the next sentence because he's still thinking about the last sentence. So it's just a matter of like, don't expect him to talk every time he's thinking over you, you know? Like, you just gotta watch his face and see, oh, this man is thinking something. I'll wait, you know, and I'll just stare at him and sometimes say, what are you thinking? Or like, what's on your mind? You know, same with Bird. Bird just goes mute. Like, he'll just stop talking for like a long stretch, and like, if you don't prompt him to talk, he's not gonna think to do it, you know? But yeah, for me, like, if I can tell that you're not paying attention, I'm not gonna continue, and most people aren't most of the time. But that's why I like doing stuff like this, because it's like we're setting aside time specifically for having a conversation together, you know, even if it is like under the supposition that like it's a show, it's for an audience, it's for a game, it's also just like a good way to have a guided conversation where like every second of it is like we're really maximizing the time we have together so that it never feels like, oh, we hung out and we didn't do anything, you know, or like oh, we hung out and we just like sat there, and then, you know, I could have used that time to do whatever else thing. Like, I don't know, you're not thinking about that, you're just thinking like, all right, we got 2 hours, like, what do we want to talk about? What do I want to talk to Krona? This scheduled hangout playdate time we've got, you know. This temple is giving like hardcore Dark Souls catacombs mixed with Sonic Adventure 2 fucking temple levels. I really like the green and yellow. This is super distinct palette.
Okay. I'm starting to remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I think I got it.
Night Night Lace.
It's... Just read what Gary always said.
Yeah, every time my goddaughter writes something, I have to practically beg her to let me read it. There's a lot of people, I would say more people are bashful about showing their
Yeah.
work than wanting anyone to see it. But that's because most people understand the social ramifications of, like, failing. And when I was a kid, I was literally, like, such pretentious, like, I just thought I was hot shit because, like, it was like a classic case of big fish, small pond, like, all growing up, right? Like, Virginia Beach isn't like a small town, but it's neither a big city. It's not like a super competitive environment. I never went to like a very competitive school. So, like, I thought of myself as like a smart kid and a gifted kid because I was usually ahead of the kids in my class, like, early on. But I got like a big head about that, like thinking, oh, like I must be one of the smarter like people, you know, like that exists because that's my frame of reference. And like, I quickly realized, you know, that I was in over my head. But it's like it's a Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Like
Yeah.
the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. And like, I'm obviously old enough now to be like, I'm dumb. Like, I'm not even in like the category of smart people in my own mind. I'm like a philosopher kind of, but not in like the, oh, I study philosophy kind of way. In like the, I'm a stoner kind of way. And so I think about stuff like, but yeah, like, I think that because I always thought I was hot shit, like, it never occurred to me growing up that, like, I was going to show my work to somebody and they were going to be like, this sucks shit, you know? Until the internet. Until, like, my late teens when I started, like, actually having people who had the patience to try and read the stuff and, you know, tell me, actually, this is, like, I see what you're trying to do and you're not accomplishing it. This is garbage, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it took for me to, like, it's not like I agreed with them. I just had to accept that, like, oh, well, nobody's gonna read my stuff unless I, like, listen to their grievances and decide that, you know, they're correct. Like, you could tell people, oh, you're all wrong, stuff is great, but, like, that's not gonna make them your stuff. It's just gonna make them call you a lolcow.
I've never heard anyone use the word lolcow as much as you.
Well, you know, I lived that life.
Well, you know, something of a lolcow myself.
Exactly. I mean, in my opinion, celebrities are all lolcows. Like, I don't think that people understand that, like, there's no such thing as having a good reputation, but nobody hates you, you know? Like, everyone is somebody's lolcow, and, like, oftentimes they're laughing at you out of their own insecurity, but that doesn't mean they're not, you know? Like,
Yeah.
they might be laughing in that, like, snide, douchey way that we all make fun of and, like, make, like, you know, in cartoons, there's always the character that's like, you're such a little bitch, and, like, everyone hates that character, but that's still, like, a real person. Like, that's why that character reads, like, scans. Like, yeah, that's every hater, you know?
True.
And on the internet, those haters, like, feel more, like, they have more power because you can't see who they are and, like, you know, judge them on their social status. But to me, like, being a hater is already, like, being a lowly cretin, you know? So I don't treat those people like they have power over me. I treat them like, oh no, you must be, like, the worst type of a person if you're, like, trapped in a hater mindset all the time.
That's true. By the
Look
way,
at
when I
them
put on this
dance.
Gibdo mask,
Having
it
a
makes
good
them
old
dance.
Oh my god, he's doing a what's it called dance? The like the full squat German thing. This is the greatest. This is the best thing in this game, actually. Just totally subverting that they're like the scariest enemy ever.
So unhinged. Oh boy, Wizrobe again. Christ.
I didn't even realize that there was like this version of a Wizrobe existed.
Yeah. We fought this fucking thing in the snow dungeon.
I guess I didn't think of it as a Wizrobe because I'm used to them being like a dark
Yeah.
mage type guy.
You know, this Wizrobe is strange.
Or like they're kind of like the wizards from Dragon Quest, actually. I guess they were in Zelda first.
It is kind of
So
funny,
Dragon Quest.
like, getting you into Dragon Quest, and you've only played the first one and none of the others, like, so far.
Mhm.
After spending a lot of time around other Dragon Quest fans, I've come to realize that, like, playing the games in order is weird, and no one does that.
Yeah. Telling you, a lot of people just won't play old games. Like, there's a threshold of oldness where it's just nope.
Almost all of them are
Not
old
doing that.
games now. Like, there's like 2 that are
That's-
not old games.
True, but
This
you
makes
know,
it
like I
funny.
said, there's a everybody has their own threshold, and it's usually when they were born.
Yeah.
I really think most people struggle with games that came out before they were born, unless those games are like literally the greatest game of, like, you know, I can play some NES games, but it has to be like one of the top 10 NES games, or else like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be frustrated.
It's like I said in
The
that
only like, sorry,
in that video we recorded, I said, like, I think 1986 is just when video games got good. It's like the year that,
Definitely
like,
when Nintendo
Zelda and
got
Dragon
good.
Quest came out, and everything before that I think is kind of boring.
it's like, well, so you know, you got the 70s was like the first time the video games were good at all. And that's like Galaga and Pac-Man and Space Invaders and Pong. I think Pong might have come out in the 60s. So like all those games are cool and kind of fun. Frogger, like, you know, I played them growing up but never developed that kind of like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, but mostly because I had already seen more modern videos, you know, so like I already knew that those games were not the height of what could be done. Because I had Diddy Kong Racing over there, just looking like preposterously more new than, you know, like Tetris or something. But a lot of those NES and Super Nintendo games, like, because they like the new games that we still like are like directly sequels to those, or like built off of those mechanics. They're just a lot easier to go back to. Like, you end up seeing the lifeblood of everything you like in them.
No, fuck off. God damn.
But yeah, like the only NES game I've ever played that was not like a famous game, but I ended up really liking is called Arkista's Ring. I did a whole video about it back around when Elden Ring came out because I called it Elfen Ring. To play as an elf, she's got a ring. But it's also like one of the few games where you play as a girl on the NES. It was not at all popular, because none of them were. Except for Metroid, where it was a stealth girl and you got tricked into playing it. But meanwhile, like on the N64, for instance, because it was actually my generation, and therefore I, like, you know, went to Blockbuster and rented all these random ass fucking games, like, you know, I can still remember. Like, I don't think I'd go back and like play Clay Fighter because I know it's like not good.
Fuck
But
that.
that's a game that I did play because I existed at the same time as it, you know,
Yeah.
and like Iggy's fucking Wrecking Balls, which was a game that like I rented once as a kid, and was like better than my friends at it, so I thought it was dope. And then I spent like ages tracking it down because it became one of those like not hard, like not rare, just like nobody cares about it, so where the fuck would they carry it? I finally tracked it down for like $10 or something. Didn't play it for like 6 years until Crota came over to my house and we were playing N64, and I was like, you gotta experience Iggy's Wrecking Balls. And we played a few levels and I was just like, this game sucks. Like, it's It's stupid. It's ugly. It's not really that fun. I get why I like enjoyed it that one time I rented it as a kid, but like going to such an extent to keep having it and like, you know, play it again as an adult was like, no, this is always better as a distant memory. But like, yeah, again, perfect example of something that like I would never have even thought to play that if not for the fact that I happened to grow up with the N64 era.
Yeah, these skelly men are just Sans and Papyrus.
Oh my god. They already existed. Feeble, 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 feeble.
Shut up already! Don't look at me. I was once called the best swordsman in all of Vikata. The greatest.
Oh, that's him.
The greatest swordsman in all of Ikata, you feeble.
Draw your weapon! I'm telling you to draw your sword.
Wow.
What fools! Haven't you begun to understand? The kingdom being ruined and us left in this state. Isn't it petty little battles like this that have caused it? Believing in your friends and embracing that belief by forgiving failure. These feelings have vanished from our hearts. It all happened after somebody thrust open the doors of that stone tower. You will bring light into darkness. I am the king of Ikana Kingdom. Ego Sukana. The spell binding that had been cast upon us was broken by that light which you carry. To return true light to this land, you must seal the doors of Stone Tower, where the winds of darkness blow through.
I can't see. There's a cat in the way. Hello, cat.
But Stone Tower is an impenetrable stronghold. Hundreds of soldiers from my kingdom would not even be able to topple it.
God, giant cat. Giant cat.
I grant to you a soldier who has no heart, one who will not falter in the darkness.
Z-Cypher says that he was soothed by our dulcet tones and been asleep since the last message that he sent. This game does have that dreamlike, you know, quality that just lulls you. None of it makes any fucking sense, so it makes you feel like you're not really awake even when you're looking.
The elegy of emptiness.
Like, it's a game that has an elegy of emptiness in it that causes your fucking soul to walk out and leave behind a creepy, fucked up, goddamn statue of some kid named Ben in your image.
Oh, it's so awful. It's so awful.
This soldier who has no heart is your twin image, a shell of yourself that you will shed when your song commands it. On my kingdom, shine the light of justice.
That's not my kingdom.
The guy's
Maybe
kind
this
of a
isn't
fag. Look at this ugly statue you gave me. Oh my god.
This thing is so fucking creepy.
It's really fucked. I don't know
The
what.
most Japanese horror thing I've ever seen in my life.
What were they thinking? We're done with the castle. Y'all having fun masking it Majora style? Oh yeah, we masking. We autistic. We masking. That's the real reason this is my favorite Zelda game. That's my secret. I'm always masking.
I'm always masking.
Oh, I have everything
I
needed
feel
to start
that Hulk with Batman's voice.
have everything we need to start the real dungeon of this area, but it's kind of a long one.
Should we call it then? Should we? We already have 3 hours, so Probably we should.
Probably.
Do you think that? Oh, actually, it's not only almost 3 hours. It's 2.5. I forgot we didn't start till later than
Yeah.
later than I had said. Nonetheless, do you think that it'll be like the last dungeon and that's like it? Like, was that the rest of the game?
Oh no, no. There's plenty
No,
more to
okay.
do. You see, I have to get enough masks to fill up this little screen here. We're still missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 7 more of those. I know 4 of them are part of the same long side quest that I'm saving for last. And there's 2 other mini dungeons I have to do. So,
Are you available tomorrow? Because I could just do another one tomorrow.
I was planning on doing another group watch tomorrow for the
Oh
second
yeah,
Sonic movie.
Sanic. What about the day after tomorrow?
Friday. I could do Friday.
All right, let's plan for Friday. I don't know if it'll be for sure, but if not, then we'll just push it back and we'll let everybody know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking I'd do Sonic 2 tomorrow night and then Sonic 3 on Sunday, probably.
And that's for those of you in the Golden Butterflies Discord. If you're not in it and you want to be in it, contact Krona
Yeah.
and she'll vibe check you real quick. Sniff you out like a cat. That little cat sniffing gif you always post. Try to check something stinkiness. Yeah, that one.
I'm pretty easy to find. I'm just Gigadonk on Discord.
I missed out on the Sonic group watch last night, which is a shame because I still haven't seen the first Sonic movie.
Well,
I have seen the second one.
quite a few
but not
people
the
haven't
third.
seen the first one, but the first one is the most skippable. Because it
So
really
I
is
have-
just like a road trip movie. Like the plot is a paper-thin excuse to show Sonic doing wacky shenanigans for 2 hours.
The second one is a manic madness.
Yeah.
Mayday says, I'm already vibe checked into the butterflies, but can I still have Krona sniff me? I think it's always on the table.
You're constantly being sniffed. I am the sniffer. Sniffy. Pew. I sniff. Throw the dog in the water.
Alright, I'm getting hungry. I want to cook a pizza, a frozen pizza.
Hell yeah. Frozen
I
pizza
have
for
a
lunch.
frozen fucking Costco pizza. Costco should sponsor me to talk about how much I eat their fucking pizza.
Fucking Costco card.
Give me those booms. They should pay me in booms, like Costco guy booms.
Costco big boobs. How does one enter
I'm
the
willing to-
butterflies place?
Like, I'll promote Costco, and then Costco can have the Costco guys promote me, and that'll be like the pay cycle base. That'll be the scheme. It'll all make sense.
To answer Lamu Ui, right now the server is invite only, but I think if you just search,
Contact Krona.
yeah, if you just search Gigadonk on Discord, I think it should lead you right to me.
Or on Blue Sky, or on wherever else people can trade links. Just
Yes, I am
hit up
also on Blue
Krona, because
Sky.
I'm lazy. Like, sometimes I do. If people contact me the right way, I'll remember. But it's just easier to get a hold of literally anybody else. So. Anybody you know is in the Discord. I think everybody's allowed to invite links if they're in there. So
Yeah, I think so.
very like, know someone who knows someone, and you'll be allowed in.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Fucking meow meow.